It started with a bang. World Series Rugby burst onto the sporting landscape in front of a full house.
We are back!
And the players didn't fail to deliver on a massive night for rugby. It certainly was a momentous occasion 9 days ago for the 20,000 fans that filled the house and for those watching live here in WA on Channel 7 and right around the nation on Fox Sports. And if you missed it, don't panic, we're about to do it again. Good afternoon, hello and welcome to World Series Rugby Game 2. It is the Western Force again against the tough tackling Tonga. And to call the action, an absolute doyen of Australian sports broadcasting, Gordon Bray is with us today.
Mark, it really is fantastic to be here, and what a launching pad it was last week. I mean, it's all about the Western Force getting back to the head table of Australian rugby. And I'll tell you what, if they perform like they did last week, their case will be irresistible. The bottom line is that Perth and Western Australian rugby is now an established nursery for Australian rugby.
We're in the rooms with both teams. We're about to see the Force. They are pumped up for this.
They really are pumped up, and we've been to their training sessions. The big challenge for them is to replicate the precision and accuracy that they showed against Fiji in that opening 20 minutes last week.
Okay, now a couple of changes to the Force team, a couple of changes to our team as well. Danny Orlando's with us again, and Pete Rosethorn's passed his fitness test, Dan.
He has passed his fitness test, and how about this? Peter Rosethorn for special commentary in Game 2 of World Series Rugby. Pete, so great to have you here.
Oh, Danny, it's a pleasure to be here, and they will be very special comments because I know very little about rugby, but I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn with everyone else about the fantastic thing that is World Series Rugby, and happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there as well.
A very big happy Mother's Day and a great crowd once again today. What are you expecting from the game, Pete?
Excitement, great atmosphere, family fun, whatever it is, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
And here comes the Western Force. Tonga out there already. And I told you they were pumped up. The atmosphere, absolutely amazing here. There's pyrotechnics, there's people falling out of the sky. You name it, we've got it. That's what World Series Rugby is all about. Peter Grant and Heath Testament out of the team. That's brought the changes. We'll get up into the commentary box shortly with Gordon Bray and the Big Buddha. And the two teams now making their way into position. Of course, rugby, it's the national sport of the Kingdom of Tonga, and their pre-game challenge or battle cry, it's centuries old. It's called the Sippy Tau, and the boys are about to enter formation for that. And standing right there, looking and waiting and watching for the moment, the Western Force, the Indigenous warrior dance, they will use in just a moment as well. And we're hoping that we can sneak into the final word from the Western Force captain as well, Ian Pryor, just before he meets the team. But they are here to play, don't worry about that. Now, Barry Maguire representing the Noongar community, here's the next force you'll hear for the Western Force Indigenous Warrior Dance. chairs now. The two teams break into position. Ian Pryor, the captain, if the ref doesn't call him into play, will have a final word to his team. No, he's broken into position early, and we're about to get this underway. Gordon Bray, as mentioned, up in the commentary box, and with him in very special comments, the big Buddha.
Well, I must say, Mark, yes, Chris Buddha Handy, an absolute living legend of Australian rugby. And Buddha, how good is this, being back in commentary together and seeing. We'll just listen here to Ian Pryor. Yes, just being back here with this wonderful atmosphere. It's really rugby's version of the Big Bash.
It is. We are staying at the same hotel as Tonga. We were invited into the Western Force training rooms yesterday to see their presentation of jerseys. The scene is set with a brother's boy, Damon Murphy, the referee. Let's go.
And yes, it's Tonga to get proceedings underway, and we have another bumper crowd. Upwards to 15,000 people here after that sellout last week, and Tonga immediately in possession through their big number 8, Sugona. And returning the ball with interest. This is Iona, who's such a sweet stepper, taking play back up towards the halfway line. Pryor working that short side. That's Iona now as he goes over the halfway line. The Tongans, fierce men, they're warriors. And they've come together only 3 days ago. They've flown in from France, from New Zealand, from the eastern seaboard, but they've had several training sessions, including a very productive one here yesterday. So Tonga now clearing through Faiva, their fullback. And it's back with play Ewan, who's getting his first run-on start. Now it's Lacey linking up with Andrew Deegan. Deegan, nice ball away.
Knock on, Blue.
And we're over the halfway line, but that pass not sticking. So really the first stoppage after a minute of play. And that's really what World Series Rugby is all about. It's fast, it's furious. The new rules, the new laws are designed to speed up the game.
There's no doubt about that. This 1 minute from the time the referee puts his heel in the ground to mark the spot of the scrum. So get yourself organised, get all the puffing and puffing out of the way.
Referee calling for the gap on the set. So he wants both front row to wait till he's called them to come together. There's nearly a ton of body weight either side.
Set!
And one of the new innovations, one of the new laws is the scrum can only last 1 minute. So we're now halfway there. If we don't get a result this time, the referee's going to make a free kick call. Let's listen to him. He's got to keep those front rows up.
I think this is good because it encourages the front rows to stay up, and that's what we all want to see.
Sosaya Donga.
Crouch! Sit! Look up! Bind!
Yes, so the minute was up, and it's a free kick here for the Tongans, and taken away by Sugona, a product of Tupou College in Tonga. That's the school of Willie Offahengawe, the Tongan torpedo, one of Australia's World Cup heroes in '91, when Australia downed England at Twickenham. And an early penalty for the Tongans. Slowing the ball down at the tackle. When you're a tackler, the blue man, you have to roll away. Let's listen to the referee. Looks as though we have an injury here. This is looking a little unfortunate for Tevin Ferris, the 21-year-old from the Netherlands club.
The referee saw him put his arm out, went horizontal, then goes up into the penalty position. All of the advantage goes to the attacking team when the ball, the team in possession.
So Tevin Ferris here, just I think winded and just a little bit of a twist in the tackle as he went to ground. But he was one of the outstanding players against Fiji last week. And There you can see the force players, they're loitering, number 3 there. You have to make a better effort to roll away so that the ball can come clear and so that we can have a fast game. That's what it's all about. And Tonga now with an opportunity to get first points here at NIB Stadium in World Series Rugby. It's live on 7 here in Western Australia and on delay around the country, and also live broadcast nationally by Fox Sports.
This is a big moment in the game. Depending on who you talk to, this Tongan team coming together late and they're young, some said they might not score. If they can get the first points here, what would this do, Buddha, for this young group?
There is a complete change in the whole aspect of it, Mark. Tonga are a confident side. They're a physical side. They're a structured side. But when they can see that there's a win on, they just open up.
So Tonga with this opportunity to take first blood at NIB. Just a great boost for their confidence, but he's really pulled that one away. There's little or no breeze here today, so that was a nervous strike by James Faiva, who I must say didn't miss one at goal-kicking practice yesterday. So no score in the game early on.
13.
Damon Murphy, our referee, he was in the Australian Sevens team for 7 seasons. He's one of the quickest referees. He refereed the recent Hong Kong Sevens final between Fiji and South Africa.
Western Force have to get this ball back.
Hold 3, hold.
Tonga's doing the right thing by pinning them in their own territory and forcing them to make the play.
And there's a nice kick by Andrew Deegan. Didn't have a lot of angle to work with there, the 23-year-old. Played with the country Eagles, and he was the highest scorer in the Shoot Shield back in Sydney in 2016.
Let's go, set the line.
This is the captain throwing in, Sione Lolahea.
2 blue offside. Midfield. 2 blue offside.
Referee's playing advantage. You heard the call from the assistant referee.
2 blue offside. 2 blue offside.
So getting in front of the offside line is a clear penalty. So just discipline hurting the Western Force in the early stages.
You know, the one thing that coach Tim Sampson, or one of the things he was wary of, was getting his team back down on the emotion of game 1. The feeling in the rooms put up was like a grand final. It was brilliant. So getting them down and then having to bring them up again. And it's fair to say they have not brought the same energy to the table in the opening
minutes. Don't have an issue if you're walking in, but they must stop completely. Okay? Walk in, stop. Yeah, you can't do any continuous movement. Yeah. Must stop, otherwise there'll be a free kick. Yeah. So you must stop for me, please.
Well, you heard it live and clear. The instructions to Tonga to not walk in to the line out.
So the Force, they look a bit flat as you look at them out there, Buddha?
They do. They've not got the possession that they want. Yep. They've not got the territory that they want. There is that lack of cohesion. They certainly did. They had plenty of it yesterday.
Yeah, there's a bit of wind.
There's a bit of sabotage here with the kicking tee, I think, because they can't get the ball to sit on it.
You've got a political incident brewing here, Gordon.
It certainly needs a wider base, so it's causing all sorts of problems, and there is I understand a little bit of breeze coming through. That's a better strike. And that'll do the confidence a world of wonders. So Tonga first on the board. Faiva gets the first penalty. The man from Papatoetoe High School in Auckland. He plays for Counties Manukau in New Zealand, and he sends a big fat Mother's Day message to his mum in Auckland.
How about that? On the back foot straight away, the Western Force World Series Rugby Game 2. It is a completely different situation they're facing right now than they did at any stage of the opening game.
Very early days.
It's fine now.
Deegan now. 10 from halfway, looking for a weighted kick. Came off one of the Tongan players. This is Johnny Iga, the vice-captain of the side. Faiva clearing it wide now to Hifo. Another man who plays his rugby in New Zealand, based in Auckland at the moment after being with the Canterbury Academy. And strong burst here by Tonga as the big man goes ahead. Manu. And finally some relief. Holding on to the man with the ball. And isolated man. And the penalty going to the Western Force.
They do well, Tonga. They're punching up holes. They've got the support. That conversion of the penalty has given them the lift. They're definitely in this game, and let's hope that they don't run out of puff. It's going to be a fair test.
Now, this could be a major concern for Vaina Manu, who plays with the Marist Premier Club in Nuku'alofa. He made that big bust, but it looks as though he's been hurt, and he is the key line-out man, along with their other tall timber, Charlie Bahulu. Let's just listen in here. Big charging run.
Here's the injury. See him at the bottom of that pack. It's getting twisted and torn.
Just the leg getting caught in there in the tangle of bodies.
Right there.
He's going to soldier on, so that's good news for Tonga, who are in the lead by 3 points to 0, and a strong line-out win there by Johan Bahul. And this is a great opportunity here. Ewan, Rod Davies. And it looks as though the Force again get the first try in World Series Rugby, this time against the Kingdom of Tonga.
So, Tonga with the first points. Western Force hit straight back. World Series Rugby Game 2.
Kyle, you got me there?
Oh, there you go, Gordon. That happened very, very quick, didn't it? They just had that moment just to regroup, and did they? What?
Clean, right?
Yeah. Confirming on field try, checking driving.
Kaitu'u, we're just going to have confirmation on the grounding of the ball, but this young hooker gets his first run on start for the Force. And what a marvellous moment for him.
Good lead-up work from the boys inside. A great ball from Mason, right, 20 metres. Good on you, mate. Keep it up. Well done, man.
I don't know who was puffing.
Nearly 9 minutes gone. I think they're all puffing.
So, nearly 9 minutes gone. We're back here for the conversion coming up right in front of our commentary box. Buddy, you get a really good look at that, and that was a really good move.
Oh, look, it was a clean break. Floated the ball over the top. The sort of ball that I'd love to run onto when I lurk out wide. Look at this. The inside ball and then outside immediately. Nearly too big, but not for Rocket Rod.
So Rocket Rod Davies getting the try, and that's a marvellous start. He was entitled to reach out and score.
One movement, boys.
And a beautiful pass in front of the man, clearly, from Clay Ewan. And that's a fair try for the Western Force. So they've hit back immediately after a somewhat shaky start. There's the grounding. Just see if the officials are happy with the downward pressure. It looked to be okay.
Murphy there?
Yeah, mate.
Confirming all was grounded.
All was grounded, so I may award the try.
Correct, can award the try.
Rocket Rod Davies gets the first 5-pointer for the Western Force. Much-travelled man who's been with the Queensland Reds and 3 years in Biarritz on the west coast of France, and now Ian Pryor.
Just water.
This for a 7-3 lead. Struck it well. It had the distance. And he did what Peter Grant did last week from the touchline. So that's a splendid response from the Western Force.
Strike back quickly with good inside, outside backs ball at pace. Very hard to defend against.
So James Faiva, who does the restarts, coming up from fullback. Again, just outside the 22 at stand-up. He scored a very good try against Fiji last week. And former South African, very strong man. Plenty of space out here for the Force as they spread it wide. You see the hooker, Kaitu'u, lurking out there. Very strong runner. It's Alcock going up towards halfway. Deegan then. Just giving a couple of the forward runners a bit of opportunity.
Leave it now.
Deegan. Marcel Brush. Baraki was a decoy runner. Here's Davies again. He's so elusive. And finally, Stander goes into touch just on the halfway line. But the big thing here, Chris Handy, is that they are using the whole width of the field to stretch this Tongan defence.
Absolutely, and they're carrying the ball out quickly when they get trapped behind. I think they realise that Tonga just pick up that extra bit of impetus when they enter the 22. So
a good jump there by the number 8 Stander to deflect that ball on the Force's side. Here's Baraki now. Bit of space here for Lacey. Sayona. And well presented here for the backs. It's quick ball.
He's red 2 offside.
And a couple of the Reds players have been up in front of the offside line, so they're playing advantage here. It's a penalty advantage for the Force, but they'll look to take advantage. There's a Tongan man down on the far side. Overlap here. There's a good pass from Ewan, and Baraki. Back to Ewan. The man from Kalgoorlie, the Kalgoorlie kid. He's only 10 metres out from the goal line. This is Alcock. Low defence there from Hippo. But the Force really applying pressure here. That Tongan man looks as though he's in big trouble and is being escorted from the field.
Knock on by Blue.
And the ball just lost ahead. Now this is very sad. I think this is the centre kid, Nasima, who has paid his own fare France, his airfare from France, just to come and join the Tongan team.
Time.
And this man actually used to catch the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning from Minto to Fairfield with Israel Folau, Jared Hayne and Krishnan Inu to attend Westfield Sports High. But what a tragedy. He's come all this way. He surprised his parents in Sydney. He just rolled up at the front door last Tuesday from France. And now he's being escorted from the field with what looks quite a serious injury.
What a great story that is. And this Tongan team is full of those. It was almost a fairy tale finish there.
Time back on.
Clay Urin just couldn't
here, boys.
do it there.
Time on.
But the momentum has certainly swung.
So
Hasn't it? It's such a big thing in sport. It swung just as we were starting to question whether the Force were flat. They just took a moment to find their feet. They've got it now.
There's your mark.
they're getting the flow from the referee, putting the pressure on.
We're just 15 metres out from the Tongan goal line. A massive blow there, losing Keith Massima, the outside centre from Uguam. Okay, the clock is ticking. It's 25 seconds. There'll only be one more chance, and this is a big plus. It really does focus.
Make sure your shoulders above your hips from me, both sides, please.
It really does focus everyone to stay up. And there's no excuse for the scrum going down. The urgency is there to get the scrum decided within a minute. So there'll be no second chance here, that we have to get an outcome. And that's positive.
Bind! Set!
Whole focus here is safety. Halfback feeding the scrum. The hooker must put his foot up, and Tonga have done it well.
And this is Iga, far side. Well, a force player came through. There appeared to be a knock-on, but we're playing on here. And there it is for Deegan. The pass came from Ferris initially, and Andrew Deegan backing up on the inside gives the Western Force their second 5-pointer.
So all of a sudden, it's 12 points to 3, and the Force, they're more than coming.
So that's...
So here it is, Gordon. It became all too easy for Deegan at the end.
Yes, there was... It looks as though the ball on the ground was knocked out of the hands of the Tongan player. There was a question from the Tongan players about a knock on, that little incident there. But you saw the ball picked up by Lee Warner, then away to Ferris. Chris Handy.
So Deegan scores, and it's 7-3 the Force. Chris Handy.
Look, once they get the break, the inside, outside, back inside, support passing of the force is just overwhelming for the Tongans, who I think they're just feeling the pace at the moment.
Ian Pryor, another beautiful strike. 2 converted tries for the Western Force in front of another bumper crowd here at NIB Stadium. Well, we've got jumping castles outside for the children. We've had a gymnastics display. There's a Tongan cultural display, skydivers. It's all been on. And there, that one-handed flick out the side. Fantastic work there by Fergus Lee Warner. Ferris, the back row, is in support. And then the little man formerly from the Rambling Club, Andrew Deegan. Try time.
Fantastic day out and about. Farm animals, kids entertainment, the whole shooting match here in Perth. They know how to celebrate a game of rugby.
Ian Pryor then the captain, working it to Lee Warner. Might have been a bit of a high tackle there.
Just high, contact, above shoulders, high tackle.
Referee's very stern on that element, that safety element, the danger element of the game now. Has to be below the level of the shoulders, the tackle. So you've got a man here refereeing who is as fast as the wingers, which is a big advantage. And Buddha, you've seen young Damon Murphy from Brisbane.
He's a product of Nudgee College, of brothers of the World Sevens program, and he's always hankered a hope to have some refereeing. So.
And they're clearing out again here through UN. Clay Ewan chiming in out wide from fullback. And
balls
we're only
out,
again
balls that stay back. Not out.
45 metres out from the Tongan goal line. So it's been a very impressive start again by the Western Force. Just taking advantage of a few errors. You cannot touch the halfback like the big number 8 did there, Sagona. So that really is a bit of a brain explosion. The halfback is a protected species, the number 9. You've got to allow him to pick the ball up and deliver it to his back line.
I wish that was the case when I played halfback, that he was a protected species, but it's right. The game is to be played by the ball in hand and not have a wrestle at the breakdown.
What's your issue? No, they're all stopping. Yeah. I'm happy. I hear what you're saying. I'm happy to manage that for you. I'll take that on board, but I want you more discipline for me, please.
And I think that's a good message to the Tongan team. Their discipline's just letting them down at the moment. But the Force are going to be unrelenting here. It's a very loose resistance in the driving ball.
Leave it now.
That's the goal line ahead.
Leave it.
Possession here for the Force. They're stalking for their 3rd try. There's something on the short side. Lacey was there. Again, there's a penalty advantage. That's Bardul, the big second rower. Kautu'u, 5 metres out. Lee Warner. The crowd now chanting for the Force. Bardul, the big second rower. Just 5 metres remaining, and there's some space out wide here. Iona to Deegan. It's on. It's intercepted. But you recall there was a penalty advantage.
Just in line with me, Murph, about 6 out.
A penalty advantage for the Western Force, and the referee played that advantage. It didn't accrue. And again, it was for an offside. And the referee's going to, I think, call the captain here now.
Great move from Western Force.
Too many infringements. Blue, those infringements are affecting Blue's momentum. Why don't you have a chat to the boys? No more infringements down around this area for me, please. If you can't stop it, someone will go over, sit down for 10 minutes. Have a chat. I'll give you time to have a chat now.
Wow. Now is that good officiating or what?
Very good. I mean, clearly the captain, I don't know whether he said too much. I think they all got the message, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they,
Blue ball.
It's fatigue. Truly, it's fatigue. Their minds buzzing. They only came together 3 to 4 days ago. It's... Let's see how they go in the scrum. There's every chance that Western Force could keep this ball in the scrum.
And go all the way.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
So as Chris Handy has told you, there's a prospect here. They may hold the ball in the scrum and go for a pushover. The backs wouldn't be happy about that, though. Stander clears it. Braki! He has strolled over. A Sunday afternoon stroll at NIB. And Marcel Braki, the American Eagle, who qualified for the World Cup in Japan next year, has just strolled over through flimsy defence.
And we're going to get to Marcel with Pete Rowsthorne right now. Go, Pete.
Hey, feel it, mate? Feel all right?
Yeah, good. We're just trying to get the tempo up. Go work from the forwards of the platform. They've been doing great all game. Next job.
You've got a nice rhythm, mate. You've got a beautiful rhythm. It's been great, mate. Well done.
Good work, Pete. He's out there. Gee, he's quick. He is over that hamstring injury. Of course, Marcel Braki was the first to score in World Series Rugby last week, and here he is doing it again, Buddha.
He was heavily strapped yesterday at the team run, and we thought to ourselves he might be carrying an injury, but gee, this doesn't show it. Powered across the line. And look at the team come to him. He's a charming bloke.
Successful conversion, so 3 converted tries, and suddenly the score blows out to 21-3. So the pace of the game is really worried the Tongans. Don't forget, a lot of them have come from New Zealand. They're not used to this heat. I mean, the temperature's up in the mid-20s here at NIB at the moment, and because the Force have been able to retain possession, they've really applied the blowtorch.
Yeah, it's about control, and Tonga needed to start a different way. They didn't need to be kicking the ball deep. They needed to get their runners in, fire up this team of theirs. They've got ability. It's just a matter of getting the trigger.
Yep, they're under pressure from all parts of the field. The Force are coming at them hard. The refs having plenty to say. We're only just over 20 minutes into the half. Who knows what's going to happen from here?
Oh, that's very dangerous play there by Weir Feliki Donga, and he's going to be in big trouble here.
Step back. Blue, step
we'll
back.
have to listen to the referee. You cannot attack a man in the air.
Is the injured player.
Step back. Let me take care of it. Let me take care of it.
Oh.
Step back. Step back. Step back.
Has hit the turf hard there.
Now, the referee will look at the Tongan player who is looking up for the ball. He's allowed to contest the ball, but it's a safety issue.
Going up in the air for the ball. 14 red. Not a realistic position to catch the ball. Agree. Contact. Player letting dangerously. Side and back, yellow card.
Agree.
Excellent.
So there was
Captain.
that's the call, no realistic situation there for
Captain. 14 red, Captain.
Feliki Donga to catch the ball.
Red.
A couple of different factors in that as he speaks with the captain, and it's a one-way traffic at the moment.
So the picture I've seen is Blue going up for the ball. You're not in a realistic position to catch the ball. You've made contact in the air. He's then dangerously on his side. It's a yellow card. Off you go, please.
Now the yellow card means that he is off the field for 10 minutes. So 10 minutes in the sin bin. The Force will have a numerical advantage, and it looks as though Rod Davies, who came down very heavily there, may be unable to continue. That's a blow, because he is such an excitement machine.
It is. It flipped him over. The referee said shoulder and back. The head gets a little bit of a snap back as it happens, and he's getting treatment there on his shoulder when he crunched down together.
Wow, that's really most unfortunate for Rod Davies.
We'll get down to Danny Orlando shortly with an injury update on Rod, and of course we had a very similar situation with Peter Grant in the first game, and he's of course not playing today. Was at training during the week, late in the week, and if there was a game next week he might be able to play. He's being rested up, so the change there for both teams now. 21-3 Western Force.
Thanks for that update, Mark Doran, and there's been a knock-on by the Force. So it's Tonga now with a chance to get their hands on the ball. They haven't seen too much of it over the last 10 minutes, and they're really battling to get into this contest at the moment. And remember, they are a man down in the sin bin.
Knock on, no advantage, slow ball.
And we're going to have a scrum. Time to settle.
No advantage to red, knock on by blue here.
But it's been a very professional performance so far by the men in blue.
The men in blue have been clear in what they were doing, and the referee has been clear.
Andrew Forrest there is having a, there we go, it's all smiles, so there's no problems there long term, and Andrew Forrest was quick to get out And I think he will be right throughout the series when one of his boys get hurt. In fact, a player from either side. Some said it was the hand of God last week that he used to bring Peter Grant back. I'm not sure that was true. Rod Davies certainly didn't need that. That's good to see.
And do we call Andrew the godfather of World Series Rugby?
I do not, and I suggest you don't either, Buddha.
It was great that he came into the commentary position before the game to wish us luck and talk through the game and how much fun it's been. So
it's not just you and I that, in the presence of Gordon Bray, take a step back. Andrew wanted to be part of it. Don't you worry about that.
Of course.
Well, that's an important penalty there for Tonga. But, yeah, we were chatting to Rod Davies yesterday. He's a member of that super winning side for the Queensland Reds. As a schoolboy, he ran 10.7 seconds, and he really is thriving over here in Perth and enjoying the open spaces of NIB. So sad to see that shoulder injury. Looks like it could be a nasty one.
Minutes saved at this time for Tonga, when they're not giving up any points, are absolutely precious. So this is keep the ball off the Western Force whatever way you can.
This is Bongi.
Not like that.
Right on cue.
They've given it straight back. Well, they weren't listening, and really it's about pressuring possession at the moment for the Tongans. And not giving it away like that. It's a very loose carry. Again, Lacey there to pick up crumbs.
They're a developing team. There's no doubt a developing squad, and they'll be getting a lot out of this. I'm sure they'll take the tape away and listen intently to what we're hearing from the referee as he's educating them as they come along for the ride, but under some real pressure here.
Set!
Strong force scrum. This is Deegan, Iona, and Ewan out wide. Stretching. Marcel Braki, only the fullback in front. Deegan's inside. Oh, here's a brilliant effort by Taupo. And Deegan dives over.
Knock on. Entry. Entry must come to the tackle zone.
Referee plays on quickly.
No. No tap. No tap.
It's only a metre or so out. The Force looking for another one here, their fourth try. And there's some very
confusion.
Gallant defence, though. Good defence. Scrambling.
It is. Western Force snapped into action once again as it broke down. Some desperate tackling brought the man to ground, but then this one goes loose.
That was a bit like that big Fijian last week when he reached out, and he was about 30 metres short of the line, but he looked up to say, I've scored it, give it to me.
Just watch this scrum. Crouch! This is where the pressure will come on from Blue.
Bring it up. So both teams close the gap. As discussed in the sheds, clear gap on bind. When I call set, then we can close the gap, please.
Okay, so 25 seconds remaining for this scrum.
This is fantastic, Gordon. It is such a power part of the game, but so technical, and we can go right inside it.
It's got to be safe. Got to be safe for a start. You know, when I played, it wasn't safe. But it's got to be safe, and then after that, if drums are going to get kids to play the game and to play in the front row, then the game's got to be controlled.
Fed in by Dogai. Faiva, the fullback. Didn't quite get the distance he wanted, but importantly, he's got it into touch. So a little bit of relief for the Tongans. He wanted another 10 or 15 metres there. And we're going to have a line out on the 22-metre line, but 3 tries in this first half to the Western Force. Rod Davies getting the first. Deegan getting the second. Good job there by Tevin Ferris. Nice setup here for the Force. That's Harry Lloyd, the loose head prop. They're now inside the quarter.
This is what the Force have to do. And numerically better off.
Blue holding on.
But they have got to hold on to the ball when they're brought to ground. You've got to play it and leave it available. Good defence by Tonga.
Yes, the blue forwards there, the supporting forwards weren't accurate enough in their clean out, which meant that the Tongans were able to isolate the man tackled, and they win the penalty for blue not releasing.
And as the ball goes over the line, we'll go to the sidelines as well. Daniel Lando has an update for us on Rod Davies. Dan?
Guys, potentially devastating news for the Force and for Rod Davies. He's got the shoulder strap on. It looks like an AC injury, but we won't know the full extent of that till after the game. He won't be back on.
Thank you, Danny. So, yep, they'll do the scans, they'll do all of that. The Force don't play again for 27 days, but we're not talking about him for Game 3. We're talking about him, Gordon, for much deeper than that, aren't we?
It certainly looks a bit that way, unfortunately. That was the whole shoulder.
That was good.
There's a knock on here by Tonga and a counter-attack from the Force. They've cleared it quickly to Iona. Out wide is UN, who loves to join that back line out wide. And they've now taken it over the halfway line. Here's an intercept here by the Tongans. This is the halfback, Dogai. And again, not able to take advantage.
In front. Just play the ball in front.
Number 3 there, the young prop forward, a man who has impressed Chris Handy, Anthony Aholele. He is just built of granite, 130 kilograms.
Back.
The Tongans are looking a little scrappy at the moment. They need to tighten things up as the captain does his best. Lola Hare.
Leave it now.
Dogai. It's Munir offloading there to Lola Hare.
Leave it. Advantage. Off feet. Off feet, 7.
Got to stay on your feet. They're playing on quickly. This is the big number 8, Sagona.
Retreated back 10.
And he's a steamroller in every sense.
Advantage.
This could be trouble here for the Force.
9.
Professional foul.
Yeah. That's 2. Quick penalties in a row. Both around the ruck. Final warning down here for me, please. Yeah, needs to be more accurate around that ruck for me. The first one, not the offside. That's not counted. Okay, so these 2 here. Have a word? Yeah, you have a word.
Isn't that brilliant? That is just fantastic.
Look, it's the way it has to be played. It's good that you've got somebody who communicates well. Gradually, the message is getting to World Rugby that, yes, we want innovation, but we want clarity in the rules. We want safe plays. It'll be there.
It's one of the features of rugby, I think, the respect that the players have for officialdom. You don't see that everywhere. Able to question it, and you know, in some sports, we saw it in the AFL only this week. Last week, you can be suspended for touching the referee, but not when it happens like that. They are on the same team.
I think it depends on the referee.
Okay.
As well.
Damon Murphy's been outstanding.
Set.
You can see the big number 8 has moved off behind the breakaway, so he will be involved. And he's been well read by Chris Alcock, but he was able to offload to Funagi.
Leave it now, leave it. Advantage.
And I think it's been lost ahead there by Bahulu. No, it's been lost ahead by the Force. And that is Johnny Eager. 5 minutes to go here for the Tongans. Can they do it? It's the big number 8. Sagona very close. Opportunity out wide now for Bongi. And there it is, the fullback Faiva. James Faiva gets a very welcome try for the Tongans. Their fans are delirious.
The sea of red on their feet, that is absolutely magnificent. And I think you could see the smile appear on the face a little way out.
I knew he had the space. He just had to keep going wide. Nice how it worked out, the numbers.
I'm pretty sure it's number 5.
Marcel Raki came up a bit too quickly, but he was committed. He had to. They were close to the line.
Yeah, no drama.
There's a lovely offload by Opa Bongi, who's come on as a replacement for Keith Masima.
And you can look and see those white pants that Tonga are wearing. We were there when they had to go out and buy 30 pairs of those yesterday.
Yes, a local retailer came to their rescue. They didn't have enough. They didn't have enough shorts in their store, so they rung around And they managed to get 30 pairs of shorts. Some of them are, it looked more like Aussie rules shorts.
Well, I'm not sure there's a lot of Aussie rules players that would need that size of shorts these days. If you go back a little while, perhaps they would have. The galloping gasometer comes immediately to mind. That's just a lovely angle.
Can Faiva convert his try? This would put Tonga to double figures and back in contact. And they've done that with a man in the sin bin. Big kick here. Coming back. Beautifully struck. So Team Tonga hit double figures. It's 21-10. And we're in the 33rd minute, first half.
We had the sea of red come together with the sea of blue during the week. The Tongan community laid the challenge out. They said, we will bring more noise than you. The two came together in a tug of war. The coach, Tim Sampson, was there, and guess who won? Tonga won the tug of war, so they got first points, as they did in this game, and they are in it, as you say, 21-10, 32.5 minutes into the first half.
Yeah, well, they've certainly been a little bit lacking in rhythm and cohesion, which is to be expected. They've come together in just 3 days, a bit like a Barbarians preparation.
Yes.
As Muna gets a nice touch finder up towards halfway. So they're about 35 metres out, but the force now will go for the jugular again here. And it's down to an accurate throw from Feleti Kaitu'u with his first run on start here, number 2.
With good line-out ball, they must go through their forward structures. The force. Here's the opportunity to set it up.
This is a planned set move as UN beats the first tackle, offloads. Here's a wild pass from Harry Lloyd. I don't think Tim Sampson would have been impressed with that one. It was a balloon pass, a harbour bridge pass. And the Tongans are back in possession. That's halfway line on the left-hand side.
Can't take a quick tap. No, your arm's clearly there on the ball.
Slowing the ball down against Lloyd. And he said to the referee, he was holding my arm, sir. This is Faiva then to gain more territory, but Tongans just working their way back into this game.
They're a spirited side, aren't they? This is really good theatre here at NIB Stadium, but great sport.
You're watching World Series Rugby, and it's going live in Western Australia on 7. And the big boss of Channel 7, Kerry Stokes, was a winger with Netherlands for 4 seasons.
Was he?
He won 2 C-grade premierships in the late 60s and early 70s. And I believe he's watching today.
Kerry, if he's listening, we'll need to get those trophies.
Iona does well. And this is a promising work here. This is Tafe. Here we go. Intercept. Chance now for Muna and the big Sogona. This is Tonga's chance for another try for Likidonga. He was the man in the sin bin. So they're back to a full complement of Sogona, who's 140 kilograms, making inroads. And as you know, with the Tongans, they are very direct. They'll come straight at you. And here's a big chance now for the captain, Zioni. Short! Just short. Dogai, they're very close. They're over. It was just sheer power. And it's one of the back rowers, I think, who scored the try. No, it is the inside centre, Hippo. Well, he could pass as a back rower, couldn't he?
He could.
He said he used to play number 10, but as his weight has increased and he's added more muscle, he's moved to number 12.
It was just sheer power close to the line. Nothing more. Good team, clean ball. Western Force, nothing to offer.
Hard to stop?
Yeah, very hard to stop. And it's one of those things. Tim Sampson will be furiously writing his halftime talk because the Force are getting into trouble when they try and throw the ball around willy-nilly and it's being intercepted.
Well, we're going to talk to Tim Sampson very soon, immediately on the halftime hooter. We'll be up with Tim as there's an injury concern as the conversion's about to take place. You'd back him in from there to make it 21-17. It is game on here.
New ball game, Mark Duran. James Faiva. Well, after curling that first attempt, he's been right on the money.
He's got an injury here, mate.
It's one of the big second rows, I think, being assisted off the field.
Well, the the crowd are into it. They, well, they got away to a good start. We talked about momentum. It had completely gone, and out of nowhere they were able to turn it around. A man down when it happened, but
yeah,
this isn't going to help.
No, this doesn't help at all.
This was a man injured, you'll recall, early in the game, Vaina Manu, and it looks as though that injury has lingered on, and the big lock departs the scene, and an equally big man will soon join the fray.
And that's good to see. Of course, Tonga don't travel with the full medical team, of course, and the Western Force are certainly there to help out in absolutely every way possible.
Iga then taking the ball from the kick-off and solidly met there by Haitu'u.
Outside, lad, it's outside. Take him back.
Fullback Faiva charged down. The pressure really coming on the Tongans.
Number 1 right in front.
Luna's kick
Play away,
taken
play
by
away,
Marcel
play away.
Draki. And Draki now 35 metres out from the Tongan goal line. Here's Deegan. Out now to Ewan. And he looks very elusive, very quick on his feet. Former Australian under-20s rep. Attended the Hale School here in Perth, a local product. Great to see. There's Ferris. He's on the 10-metre line. We're in centre field. And the Force just conceding a couple of quick tries that have allowed the Tongans back into the game. Now looking to take advantage here. Quick hands, beautiful from Lacey. And that's Iona. And that's the 22-metre line just on the right. There's Stander. Renan Stander.
Advantage.
Referee plays a penalty advantage. Ian Cryer, this very classy captain at scrum half. Juggled by Ferris. Still playing a penalty advantage here for the Force.
Hands off your feet. Off your feet.
I tell you what will be interesting here, a power try. If this is to go inside the Tongan 22 and they get it back and they run the whole length, that's one of the great innovations of World Series Rugby. The game is absolutely turned upside down. I don't know that they'd be strategically thinking about it, would they? They're not going to let them in, but they're about to cross the 22 and, well, that's a magical part of the game.
Mark,
now.
the most important thing is you were thinking about it and you've alerted it to the viewers, because that really highlights the fact that you can score a power try if you start from inside your own quarter. It's not going to happen here, but the Tongans will certainly be mindful of that during the game. This is an attacking line out for the Western Force. Referee making sure you get a 1 metre gap in the line out.
Gap's good.
Taken there by Bardul. And sloppy work.
Had it ripped off him.
Well, he got one hand on it. And back with Dogai, so again, just that precision lacking at the moment in the Force's game. Beautiful work there by Lacey. He's passed, though, over the head of Ewan. No harm done, up towards halfway. He can stretch out here. He really is a greyhound once he starts motoring. That's great work by Heiberg.
Tackling coconut trees, so said the captain before the game. The way they prepared their defence.
Well, you've tackled a few coconut trees in your time, Buddha.
Yeah.
With something in one hand, I might add.
Mine were mango trees.
Some of that fluid from Bundaberg.
I don't know if you call that tackling, rather than a couple hit you on the head, didn't they, Buddha?
Yeah, but it is tough. These guys know how to hit.
There are some big hits coming in from the Tongans at the moment. Faiva does very well. Now he's claimed that ball on the full inside his quarter, so that is a mark. And he can now clear the ball and put it into touch. And that is indeed the hooter, so that is half-time. And what an entertaining first half we've had. We've seen 3 tries by the Western Force to Davies, also Deegan and Baraki.
Okay, let's go to Danny Orlando now with the Western Force coach, Tim Sampson.
Tim, a very shaky start early on. You must be proud about how the boys turned that half round.
Yeah, they started really well, but I think at the back end of that half, some ill discipline crept into our game, and I think we're wearing Tonga down through the middle of that first half, but we let them back in.
Now, the second half, it's exciting. The scores are really close. What's the message going to be for the team downstairs?
Yeah, I think, what the first half message was, which was to play more ball in hand. We don't want to kick away cheap possession against these guys, and I think back our conditioning side of things, but also our skill level. We've got to be prepared to put the man away when he's in space.
All right, good luck for the rest of the match. Thanks, Tim.
That's fantastic. That's Tim Sampson there. They've given away the last 14 points, the boys in the rooms now, and they look a little bit tired. It's hard work. It's not easy out there, and it's certainly not on the scoreboard. Tonga fighting back and fighting back hard. It's half-time in World Series Rugby Game 2. The Sea of Red versus the Sea of Blue, and it's Western Force leading, but only just 21-17. What about that, hey? It was an amazing start. Tonga the first to score. It became 21-3 the Force's way, and now at half-time, 21-17. The Force lead Tonga. Half-time, in one sense, Gordon Brays, we go inside the rooms with the Western Force couldn't come quick enough.
The Force certainly lost their way a bit, and as mentioned by Tim Sampson in that last 20 minutes, after getting away to an absolute flyer, 3 tries as we see them here with Chris Handy, and some, again, precision passing.
I think they're moving the ball wide before they're going forward. And what happens is, if you continue to do that, you then pressure the people on the outside. The loose passes come, and the Tongans trailing in defence are intercepting and carrying the ball back. So let's get a couple of moves that bring the play back, either centre field straight or back. We've already got 1 try off it. I think they need to work in a bit closer rather than just spinning wide.
And here the Tongans. And remember, they had a man in the sin bin at this stage. And Faiva from fullback, that was a beautiful offload by the New Zealand-based Offa Bongi. And then, how about that for an inspirational run from the captain, Lola Hea. Before the inside centre, number 12, Leo Hifo, the ex-Canterbury, now Auckland Brothers Club member.
Now, Gordon Bray, I heard you on the phone to your mum, wishing her happy birthday before. Happy Mother's Day, sorry, to all mums everywhere, enjoying it however you choose to. We're going to go inboard here with the future force of this team through the mums. One mum who's prepared a long-term winger, Brad Lacey, will say hello to Belinda, and also Michelle No. So at local level, she's preparing a whole new breed of Western Force superstars.
Meet 2 local Perth rugby mums. This is Belinda Lacey. She's the mum of Force winger Brad Lacey. And this is Michelle Young, mother of 4 young rugby boys.
Give me a shoe, mate.
Michelle's weeks are spent devoting her time to her son's local rugby club.
Well, I'm in charge of merchandise, so I order all the stock for everyone. I try and get new stock in so that we can promote the club. We're looking at getting sunscreens for the car so everyone can drive around saying Southern Lions and things like that.
Mums like Michelle are the backbone of the club and understand the importance of fostering their children's passions.
My husband's obsessed with rugby, so it was either get on board or get out.
So it's my hobby, but you're in charge?
Yeah. We have to do rugby. We have to keep them active. They're boys, girls too, but boys really need to be kept active, and also rugby teaches them about respect and things like that. So it's important for us to make sure that they enjoy their rugby.
And they ride all the ups and downs of playing sport with them.
Mum's been with me since I started rugby when I was 14, 15. My dad worked pretty long hours trying to make a future for us. So my mum got the short straw. She had to leave work early, pick me up from school, take me all the way to trainings, wait there, take me home.
But it all just makes it worth it when you see him run out onto a pitch every time, even for club.
For Brad Lacey, it's been 9 years on the force list, and Belinda has been by his side the whole way through.
My friends will say, "Oh, you're such a proud mum." But it's hard work as well. Yeah, I normally clean on his rugby day, and then I always tell everybody to leave him. Do not upset him, don't ask him to do anything, and they all say, "He's not a baby." But I do tend to baby him.
Whether it's the juniors or the pros, there's always a risk of getting hurt in rugby, but it seems the bigger the boy, the bigger the worry for mum.
Every time Brad runs out on game day, I still get completely nervous. I don't think it's going to ever change. I have knots in my stomach. I stress for him. I sit there like this.
And for the Suns, no matter what age, it seems praise from mum is what goes the longest way.
As far as we're concerned, you're already our hero and our star. We couldn't get prouder. You've made us the proudest parents walking. She's
a very special lady, and yeah, I'm very privileged to have her in my life. I don't want the lipstick, Mum.
Inside the rooms there, Brad Lacey's in there somewhere, not thinking about Mother's Day just at the moment, but we still are. Happy Mother's Day to one and all. The present's not what Belinda thought it would have been at half-time. 21-17. The Western Force do lead Tonga, but only by 4. They're in a position that they didn't necessarily think they would be in. We'll be back with more from NIB Stadium World Series Rugby Game 2 coming up. (21-17), the Western Force by 4 over Tonga. We had the war dance at the start. Tonga scored the first points, and Chris Handy, they've played a power game and are right in this.
Tonga have done everything right. Now, that seems strange, given that they're behind at half-time, but the Western Force would be filthy with themselves of not getting their structures working properly. Tonga's a team that you've got to be able to set up and then finish off. And unless you can get those forwards going forward, you're not going to do it, and the tries won't come.
Just after 5 o'clock local time here in WA now. The sun is disappearing, the lights are on at NIB Stadium, and we've said it a couple of times, Gordon Bray. A game on, the Force first out, Tonga now into position, and who knows what's about to occur as we look down at NIB Stadium here in the state's capital of WA. It's the birthplace of World Series Rugby.
The nation's capital.
Well, some would say that it is, but that's not me. It's the birthplace of World Series Rugby, and we're loving what we're seeing early doors.
We certainly are, Mark Doran. Yes, it's live here on 7 in Western Australia, and live around the country on Fox Sports. Tonga, a very proud rugby nation, formed in 1923, the Tongan Rugby Union, after some boys returned from schooling in Sydney and formed a rugby union competition from Newington College, where the late King of Tonga attended. So Tonga trailing by 21-17.
Holding on, Red.
And there's a red man isolated on the ground. You have to release once you're tackled, and there was no support.
A couple of very proud Tongan rugby players for the Wallabies played a big part in World Cup wins. Willie Offengawi, 91, and Torai Kefu.
Torai Kefu, a Wallaby World Cup winner in 99. What about the late, great Jonah Lomu, one of the most famous Tongans, and our own Israel Folau?
Wow, yeah.
Right across.
It's a rich history, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. And in many ways, some of these guys are playing to do something here that will make someone say, hey, why don't you come and play with me? Come out of the islands and let's see what can occur. The world's your oyster.
That's what a series like this is all about, being discovered, getting you.
Well, there's a missed opportunity for the Force. The line-out throw wasn't in straight. So they were camped down on the goal line, but because it's not straight, it's a scrum feed now. for the Tongans, a chance to hold on here, deep in defence.
Of course, in their own 22, the power try could very much be on. It's a long way from where they are to where they want to be.
Fed in there by scrum half Dogai. Sagona, who'll take a couple with him. Nice low tackle there by Alcock. That's the way to put those big men down around the ankles. Space now, and a bad knock on there by Feliki Donga. It was a terrible pass, and Braki has it for the Force. Here's a chance to hit hard early, right between the eyes. And Kieran Longbottom has put the ball down, but no advantage. And an attacking scrum here for the Western Force. Early stages, second half.
Good setup. Great place on the field. Give a bit of a shunt to that Tongan scrum and turn it off its axis a little bit. It pushes the back row away towards the sidelines, which opens up all the options for the Force. On this side, Longbottom on. For the Force. Saracens.
Good. Look at the scrummaging there of Kieran Longbottom, closest to us, the tight head prop. That's a brilliant scrum and a penalty for the Force. The referee plays advantage. They can have a crack here.
Midfield offside. Back here.
But there you saw a class scrummager in action. Kieran Longbottom, but for an ankle injury, Chris Andy, when he was playing for Saracens, I think the England selectors were even looking at him as a future England prop.
Yeah, he's always been a really useful footballer. And as a front rower, he's got terrific skills, but he just loved the opportunity to come back when the Force said, we need you, do you want to come, do you want to be here? He's loving it. Tim Sampson, the former Brisbane Sunnybank player and coach, here with the Western Force now, along with Van Humphreys, the former Reds player.
Okay, let's see how the Force handle this guy again with the influence of Longbottom again at tight head. Their stander very close, the number 8.
Organised chaos, this, isn't it?
You can hear the referee blowing his whistle. It's
I don't know where the referee
I don't think the players heard it. Where is the referee?
They're coming back over the other side. The Force
got over the line there. So they've got over the line, I think.
You know you're in a contest when your eyeballs start quivering when the pressure comes
They
on.
can't take it quick, mate.
In the scrum.
We're just trying to sort out what's happened here. It looks like a try has been awarded. And yeah, I'm absolutely
try without
bemused.
a conversion.
I'm trying to work out who scored the try. But the conversion apparently has been taken.
Was it a 7-point try? Was it a penalty try?
It wasn't a power try. So I think we're still back. The scoreboard showing 28-17. It's a restart after a try has been scored. But that one's a bit of a mystery to us. We'll try and sort that out for you. Here's Deegan. This is Iona. Nice little step. Just lost the ball in the contact.
Okay, we got a little bit caught up and all that. It was a penalty try, so no conversion to that, so we can confirm that.
Yeah, it was a penalty try.
So 28-17. They worked so hard, Tonga. That's the last thing they deserved, but it changes the scoreline, doesn't it?
So clearly there was some foul, deliberate fouls when the Force were going to score that try down in the corner. And this is where they were off their feet, the Tongans. And the referee said, but for illegal play, they're all offside there, but for illegal play, the try would have been scored. So as Mark Doran told you, it's a penalty try. A penalty try is
the referee is already standing underneath the posts with his arm up. That's why him blowing the whistle was doing no good. The players were all on the other side.
He'd already awarded the penalty try, so that absolutely fooled all of us there.
Yes.
But That's when you score a penalty try, it's an automatic conversion. That's why we didn't see the conversion. So all sorted, and the Force, importantly, the home fans are out by a 28-17 lead.
Bind! Set!
You see the power of the scrum once again, but they can't hold up.
Both binds need to be on the body. They're just dropping it straight away.
And this is young Anthony Aholele from Tupou College
Nice long bind, something.
in Tonga on this side. 130 kilograms of rippling Tongan manhood. Tight head prop.
Good. He's getting a bit awkwardly placed. Chris Heiberg is giving him a really good lesson. See the angle. Chris Heiberg coming through and twisting Alole.
Well, Tonga looking good here. The ball looked to travel forward. Again, it was Johnny Eager just trying to push that pass in the contact. And the ball's been lost forward, travelled forward towards the opponent's goal line, so opportunity wasted. But the vice-captain here tried to offload. Again, it was very good defence from stand-up.
That was the thing that stood out in game one for the Force, how well organised they were in defence. And they've been seriously challenged here today, make no bones about it. And what they've done at times has been equally as impressive.
So I think you mentioned, Mark, that 14,000 tickets were pre-sold for this game.
Yes, that's what it was heading towards after just short of 20 in game one. Tough gig on Mother's Day, and hard to get your mother along to rugby if she doesn't absolutely love it. But it's the theatre of it all. It's so much more than what we see on the pitch. And certainly Western Australia and the capital Perth have responded.
That Stander making a nice little burst from the scrum base. Deegan cleans up well. And this is Ewan. Marcel Braca. Braki up to the 10-metre line. He's enjoyed himself today. And Teifu fires the pass outside. Here's Longbottom setting it up.
Leave it now, leave it!
15 from the halfway line.
Want to be on the ball.
And Deegan says we're going to play it down in opposition territory. That is a delightful kick. And I noticed last week in commentary with you, Mark, Michael Liner really enjoyed the play of Andrew Deegan. He's almost a young Michael Liner clone. His decision-making was brilliant, and you could tell that Noddy was thrilled to be watching him.
You read that beautifully, Gordon, from the other side of the country. He would get to his feet when Dee's got the ball. Yeah, he's taken him under his wing a little bit, and I think a little bit of advice going his way. And that's not bad to have Michael Liner in your back pocket.
Well, that was a real Michael Liner touch finder, that one. It's going about 40 metres.
Michael will be listening, of course. Footer, if you want to give your old mate a little serious.
Let's see what the Tongans can take from this situation. The kick's only gained 10 metres, and they've regained the ball. And then knocked off. The advantage here for the Force. They can counter-attack here. Lee Warner got a one-hander away. He's very adept with those little one-handed offloads in contact. Figured in one of the tries last week. And that's a well-read kick by Pryor. Again, putting pressure back on the Tongans. Bogoasi has knocked the ball on. And this is a dynamite situation as far as the Tongans are concerned, because the Force attacking scrum can really ram home an advantage here.
Just what pressure does. Force the pass inside to relieve it, and it'll happen every time.
So Faiva, the man offending.
He's kicked well, hasn't he? He's got his goal kicking has been good.
Well, Tonga will need everything from their arsenal to withstand the Force pressure here. Harry Lloyd at loose head prop here. Kieran Longbottom at tight head on the right-hand side of the scrum, wearing number 18. This is Stander at the back. They're going to try and shut the Tongans, who are standing their ground. Iona, number 12. They'll look for a quick release here. Pryor goes in.
12 back.
Ferris. Well supported there by Badu. And now that's Lloyd, the prop. And that's the goal line just ahead. Tonga holding on. Back to Alcock. Even UN comes in. There's a player handling the ball. They're close to the line. I think they're over. And the referee's awarded a penalty.
Rucket form. Hands.
So a ruck forms when there's a player from either side in contact over the ball on the ground. So the ruck had formed, it was then handled on the ground. That's why the penalty was awarded. And this is not looking good for Adu Fagaosi from the Avelu Bulldogs in Tonga. And he's going to be departing the scene. We've had quite a few injuries here this afternoon, Chris Hanley, but you've got to say the playing surface is in the pink.
It is. I think it's still early for some of these players. Force have been together, I don't know, 6 weeks or so.
Since March 1.
Training camp.
They came together,
Yeah. But early season injuries, the fear of most.
They are, you're right, Gordon. They are a little bit of the walking wounded, the team in red. They're the strong boys. We spoke to Rod Iona during the week. He said the Fijian way is to come straight at us. They'll try and bash us if they can, and they've done that, and that's how they've scored. But they have a couple of boys on the sidelines who are feeling the effects of that game as well.
Well, I'm just looking at some of the players warming up for Tonga, and Feo Fuduaga will be coming on shortly, but this is Leon Power, man who had 6 seasons in Taranaki, replacing Johan Kardul, the Bay of Plenty bullpen. What a work rate of that man. He's the man who pulls all the lineouts. He just takes no prisoners.
Say it again. 6 red. 6 red.
Yeah, 6 red. The injured one is off the back.
All good? Yeah.
So number 19 also coming on the field here.
3 reds coming off now.
Baovale, Solomone, Baovale, member of Tonga's national sevens team. And look at number 17 there, Chris Handy. Fotuaga. He is a...
What a tank.
He's a
look at those
142 kilograms.
Freshly bought shorts.
Time on.
Wow, there's some power.
Unbelievable. There's some powerful thighs.
And they weren't personally fitted either.
Listen to this, played in great spirit. Maybe someone was saying the same thing as you were there, but I love your shorts, mate.
Well, Teliesa, the liaison officer for the Tongan team, she's a mother of 6. She was out buying the shorts yesterday while the kids were at home cooking the meal.
They won't push them over now.
Well, it's gone down. Remember, there's only a 1-minute time limit on scrums in World Series Rugby.
An educated rugby crowd here in Perth, and they are lifting now, trying to get their team over the line. The chant going around NIB Stadium.
So Saya Massimo, that loose head prop, that's on the left-hand side of the front of the scrum with that little pigtail on the far side. Referee telling him to keep his shoulders up. And the big man, 142 kilograms, Fotuaga, closest to us in the front row for Tonga. Harry Lloyd, the South African born. Another strong scrum from the force, picked up by Stander Pryor. UN! Ah, yes! A first start for the Western Force boy, the Kalgoorlie kid. And the force, the Sea of Blue, overjoyed here at NIB Stadium as the locals hit 33.
33-17, a lead at 16 now to the Western Force. We met Clay Urant last week. What a start he is. We're about to meet Peter Grant's wife, who is a mother, celebrating Mother's Day up in the stands with Pete Rosethorn as we just get another look at it. Brilliant story from Clay. He travelled across the Nullarbor. He was leaving Perth because the Force were dead. They're back from the dead, and he decided to come back and play. And wouldn't he be happy about that? Perhaps. a potential wallaby. Let's get back into the stands now with Pete. You've got Leanne Grant with you, Pete. Come in.
Thank you, Mark. I'm here with the wonderful Leanne Grant. Thanks for joining us, Leanne. It's very nice of you. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Nice to see you're not too busy and your husband's really taking some of the workload off you.
Yes, absolutely.
What's he doing? I don't know what he is. He's sitting right there not doing anything. He's doing Jack, Leanne.
No, he has to take it easy, so I'm giving him some front row seats.
Here comes the conversion, Peter, from the skipper, and Ian Pryor makes that, so the score moves to 35-17. Back to you, Pete.
Thanks, Leanne. Have you had a good day? Have you done anything?
I've had a lovely day. I was treated with some coffee and rusks in bed, and otherwise it's been fantastic. It's so good to top it off with the rugby.
It's a wonderful atmosphere out here, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thanks for joining us. Happy Mother's Day.
Pardon?
Thanks for joining us and Happy Mother's Day.
No, thank you so much.
Too easy. Thanks so much.
And what a fabulous acquisition for the Western Force. Peter Grant and Mrs. Grant there with the tribe. Beautiful kids. Thanks very much to Peter Rosethorn.
Hard to hear out there.
Yeah.
The fans are into this now.
Here's Deegan then going to Iona. And this is Teifu running nicely.
Power try territory.
Yeah, they've started from inside their quarter. So now if they hold possession and can score a try from this, they get the power try. But it has been touched.
Kick the ball out of a ruck.
It's been touched there by the opposition. That automatically nullifies the power try.
Kick the ball out of a ruck.
And as the referee's told you, once the ball's in a ruck, players over the ball on the ground, you can't kick it out.
So it brings a different thing to it, doesn't it? Because that could have been, and probably was, a deliberate, we're in danger of giving away 7 here, let's just give the ball up.
Yeah, but I don't know, I'm just, any way you can get the ball in a ruck and get your foot to it, I reckon you should be rewarded for it, not penalised.
Well, the ball looked to be sitting out, didn't it?
Yeah, but
12 red.
Look, everybody's trying any way they can to make the game easy and enjoyable to follow.
And we have yet another injury concern for Tonga. They really have been beaten up here. They play such a tough brand. They've left nothing out there, nothing at all. In fact, we might be able to go down to Danny Orlando right now. Come in, Dan.
Yeah, just coming past me now, guys, a stretcher there for Tongan player Atanasia Whakaoshi. Now, he has broken his shin, so really devastating news for them, but hoping that it's not too serious and he won't be out too long.
So here's Marcel Braki on the far side. Yeah, that's terrible news for the Tongans. Taken up here by Ferris. Pryor again, just the general of this back line. Long bottom. Just working their way up towards the goalposts here, the Force. Now they find a gap here, Deegan. He went straight through the gap too, didn't he? And a beautiful little offload. Player handling on the ground.
Step back.
Let's hear from Damon Murphy. There's an infringement. And it could be a yellow card here. Certainly a stern talking to.
So, you deliberately played the ball on the ground. It's a cynical act. It's a yellow card.
Nothing going right for the Tongans at the moment. And when you're defending desperately like that, you do silly things.
It comes with fatigue as well. You fatigue your mind, you lose concentration, and things go out the window. And you could be the person who's trying more than anybody else. Like I was all the time, but it just didn't work.
Well, Mark, one of the most famous upsets in history was when Tonga beat the Wallabies in 1973. Can you believe that at Ballymore? And Chris Handy was playing for Queensland. They played Tonga that year.
Unbelievable.
You were in the right team.
Well, I wasn't in the right team. But in the Queensland game, I was a 23-year-old prop backing up outside the winger Jeff McLean and snapped my ankle. So the serious injuries go hand in hand with playing against Tonga.
You had a bit of pace in those days, clearly.
Well, I thought so.
Big scrum here then, again for Team Tonga. The Force looking to really bury them. And problems there for the hooker who just can't get in. But the impact... The impact of Kieran Longbottom coming in a tight hit after half-time, Mark, and Chris has really put some enormous pressure on the Tongan scrum.
I just like the look of him and the way that he plays, not because he runs distances and scores tries, but he just plays and supports the ball so well.
You've also got a very powerful scrummager there in Leon Power in the second row at lock, adding weight behind Longbottom. So
you need them.
Yeah, it's not one man who does it. It's all 8, as we can see here. Controlled by Stander. Easy pickings for the Force. Braki. And another 5-pointer, and that was all about scrum pressure.
So with that, all of a sudden it's blown out. Tonga failing to score so far in the second half, 40-17. And Brake's been good, Gordon, in the 2 games. Every time he gets near it, something happens, doesn't it?
Well, Chris Handy could explain that as a front rower, but really, when your scrum is under that much pressure and you're edging ahead, that's when you've got the try line at your mercy.
You see Braki there, making his way back into the middle. He'll watch the conversion. He's certainly doing his job. Okay, and here's Ian Pryor now to convert 40-17, the Western Force. Put up.
Well, as captain today, he's weathered the storm. He's brought them home with a full sail of wind in front of the Mother's Day crowd.
A 6th conversion here, if successful. And the crowd, I think, have really enjoyed the action in this contest at NIB Stadium. And really, look at the strength there of Marcel Braki. He's deceptively strong, Buddha.
And also, he'd be one of the more polite rugby players that we've struck. We spoke with him
and who? 14 red.
At training yesterday at the captain's run. What an absolute delight.
What a gentleman, yes. He was calling Buddha Sir.
Was he really?
I don't know whether he thought he was a knight. Maybe he thought he was a knight of the realm, I'm not sure. He'd heard a lot about him.
You can go down to the rooms afterwards and tell him who you are, Buddha. He knows full well. Gee, he was strong. You called that beautifully. Just stood up in that tackle.
There's a big tackle on UN, and Braki coming through, almost getting an intercept.
Knock on blue.
Well, it's a game of ping pong at the moment.
Knock on your first.
We've got a whole range of subs coming on for Tonga. But there's the big number 19 we told you about, Leon Power, born in Sydney. And Tom Sheminant has replaced Harry Lloyd. I said Harry was born in South Africa. He was actually born in Nowra. So it's pretty close.
That's close.
Pretty close. But he couldn't make the St Edmunds College first 15. So what a great story. He's done a Phil Kearns and a Nick Farr-Jones. Come from 2nd grade to this elite level. Harry Lloyd, well done, mate. Here's the Tongans then, working the ball wide. Ziziga. 22-metre line away to the right. Quick clearance from Dogai. And Muna. Dogai, the scrum half. Not much on here for the Tongans. It's been a swift moving defensive line, but they do have good numbers there on the left. But the ball too slow. Buaka.
Tackle release!
It's a great tackle by Stander.
Release. I know it's harsh.
Let the tackle man go. This is Solomone. Ba'uvale. That's the 22-metre line, and brilliant work there by Power over the top. A little bit of a basketball feed, that one. And Pryor relieves the pressure. Faiva now at fullback. That's the halfway line. Pass was flat, let's put it that way.
Advantage over.
And there's some very strong tackling coming in. That was Iona that time. Rodney Iona, who played so well against the Fijians last week.
Brad Lacey down just off screen there, and in some trouble too. The injuries just continue. There he is. We get a look at Brad, pick up what happened as Tongans continue to come, Gordon.
Yeah, Foru Ondayaga. And Dorga. Oh, this is great work from the number 8, Sagana. They really need the 5-pointer here to keep their hopes alive. We're past the three-quarter stage of the match. They're trailing by 23, but a 7-pointer will be very handy here. There's space out wide. Iga. Plenty of defence out there from the men in blue.
Lacey back on, by the way, threw the trainers away, got back to help his teammates.
This is Iga.
He's still limping.
Yep.
Here he is supporting number 11. And he's a cripple.
Lolohea goes to ground. But the defence from the force now has had a chance to reorganise. Unagi, 8 metres out from the goal line. And Tonga finish off here. Big clean out by number 17, Boduanga. They play on quickly, hold on to it. Try goes begging.
Knock on, right back to the line.
To Iga. How frustrating.
Haven't scored, Buddha, in the second half, and there it was on a platter.
They just can't take a trick. Second half has been a better controlled performance by the Western Force.
No, knock on before the line.
But things like this just don't help.
Knock on. Yeah, knock on.
That was Benedani, who actually played for Townsville Brothers, Buddha, and Curwen State High School in Queensland, first 15. So we've got one of your banana benders on the field.
They can see the promised land, though. It's not too far away. Do well to get the ball back, though, won't they? The force, as we talked about, so well organised. Right, looking around, looking at his options. Where's he going to go?
So they pulled out of the scrum there, and that's why the referees awarded a free kick. It's not a penalty.
Have a look at that. There's the walking wounded.
Yeah. It's like a casualty clearing station.
I wouldn't mind having the Elastiplat contract. Just at the moment, there's some tape on those legs, and they're not small. And the ball goes over. So 40-17, 23 points the margin. And Tonga did have those 17 points at half-time.
And Harry Scoble coming on. Rusty, he's now with that familiar red hair coming on his hooker. What a splendid run-on debut for Beneti Kaituku, formerly from St Joseph's College, Nudby in Brisbane, now with West Scarborough here in Perth. Really thrived with the Canterbury Academy in New Zealand last year, and involved in the ITM squad. Lolohea. Solomone was there. 22-metre line. Ba'uvale. 18 metres out from the goal line. Tonga desperate for a 5-pointer. Muna. Supported by his captain, Sione. And look at the low tackling. Brilliant low tackle there by Longbottom to cut him down. Sagona. Oh. Smashed into them. And now Boduanga. Good clearance from the halfback. But some fierce exchanges there. Some body collisions.
Amazing.
Forcing the error.
See it, hear it, feel it. And look, it just leaves you in your wake, in the wake of this game. These are tough boys, and they're just going down. Such is the intensity.
And Buddy, you get the feeling they've gone up a couple of notches here, the Tongans. They realise how urgent this situation is. But it looks like we've got another problem here.
Yeah, there's a blood-curdling yell from the bottom of the ruck. It's the Muna, the fly half. Looks like a possible leg injury.
So 40-17, the force lead, back on his feet, but they are really under pressure, the Tongan business.
Yeah, it really has been a torrid contest in this second half. The Tongans have been really upping the ante as far as their aggression and physicality is concerned. It's very warm, quite humid conditions, quite oppressive. They're used to these conditions, the boys from Tonga, but a lot of from New Zealand as well have flown over.
20 23 points the margin, Western Force Tonga, 65.5 minutes into this match, and that was the fear, Gordon Bray, that Tonga would perhaps run out of steam after an hour. They've had a great 4 or 5 minutes, but yeah, the game might be about to open right up.
Yeah, and you've got to hand it also to the Force, who've really stepped up. A very stern talking to from Tim Sampson, the coach, at half-time. They slackened off in that second 20 minutes, but they've really taken a stranglehold on the game, and this man has been impressive, UN, and Stander in support. Look at the offload there. That's UN again, the fullback, involving himself twice in the action. They're up offside here in the outside backs. Referee says play on, and space here for Iona. Here's Taifu. Here's Alcock. Lacey's with him. Oh, he could have drawn him a bit more, but Lacey's going to have a crack. It's knocked backwards into touch.
Backwards by red.
By the red team.
Red. Okay, in touch. Yep.
Well, the try was certainly there for the taking, and that would have made life an absolute misery for the Tongans, but somehow they held on.
Lazarus Lacey, you'd have to call him. 1 minute limping as if crippled forever, and then back into this power play down the flank. Had he been able to get the ball inside, it was all over.
Well, he's a great man. He played for Australian schools in 2011 and Australian under-20s.
And another injury gives us the opportunity to go down to the Western Force bench. And Heath Testman, the vice-captain, out with hamstring soreness. He's with us right now, live here in Perth. Heath, and right around the country on Fox Sports. You're fresh as a daisy, mate.
Mate, I'm feeling all right. I'm pretty happy with some of the hits that are going on out there. They'll be feeling better than the rest of the boys this morning.
The scrum of the second half has gone sensationally. Longbottom's had an effect, but everyone's gone better.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a big, well, like you said, we got the Stern talking to at half-time. And Kieran going out there, he's really shorted up with the experience he's had both here and in the UK that he's brought back. He's taken upon himself to lead them this second half.
Gee, Heath, Kieran's the sort of guy, you know, given a bit more game time, does he come into the reckoning for higher honours again with the Australian team?
Absolutely. Before he left, he was talked about in those circles that that they were looking at him as a potential Wallaby tight head, and they were disappointed when he left. He's come back and he's proving that he's still got what it takes, so I don't think why not.
Hey, Gordon, your job's safe, Heath. You saw that try. You decided not to call it for us. You could have gone there if you wanted.
It was a forward pass.
That's a forward pass. That's why I pulled it out.
So showing all your experience there, Heath.
Righto.
It's a scrum, so I want to celebrate that.
So it was just a little. Was that just a little front rower's twinge, the little hammy, because you were playing so well before you went off?
Yeah, just a little bit. That I kind of picked it up in a club game a couple of weeks before, and so we just want to make sure that it's right for this next block of games coming forward.
Haven't heard of anyone doing a hamstring in a scrum.
Well, it wasn't from me running too fast, that's for sure.
Yeah, uni players, they're just a bit soft in the scrum.
Oh, please, coming from someone from the filth.
And Heath, what about just tell us about the atmosphere here and the involvement of the crowd, so many kids, so many mums here. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it has a bit of a big bash feel for rugby.
Absolutely, the energy's electric down here, and the way that they've got the crowd working around, they're involved from start to finish. And I think with the noise that the Sea of Blue always traditionally made, and a little bit more encouragement they're getting now, it's a real show down here.
And a word on the young hooker who started today, Feleti Kaitu'u, his performance.
Mate, it was a really, really big effort from him, and it's exactly what we expected. He's a good physical young hooker. Played for Jeeps back in Queensland, but he's seen the light and he's moved west, and it was a huge opportunity. He took it with both hands. Playing against his native country as well was a really big thing for him, I know, and he represented himself brilliantly out there.
We'll let you go. I reckon Heath might spend some time in the commentary box if he gets injured again. He's very good at the caper. Can I ask you just one last one, mate? A big signing to add an All Black to the Western Force roster, Jeremy Thrush. How big is that?
Oh, he's pretty handy from what I've seen of him over the last few years and playing against him as well. And like all the experience he brings, not just physically as a footballer, but just the experience and knowledge that he'll bring to this group with a lot of our young guys like Fergus Warner will benefit hugely just having him around.
Hey, thanks very much. We better get back to the action, but we wish you a very speedy recovery. Want to see you back there quickly as the Force take things forward here.
Thanks very much.
That's Taifu, and the Force really looking to put this one beyond doubt and Doesn't that man work hard as well? Lee Warner, formerly with Eastern Suburbs in Sydney. Strong work here. Great work by Power. And Lacey does it. He ties it all up.
Who scored that, Butter?
Who rolled back the stone? Lazarus has emerged on Mother's Day. Here we go, great try, and that's perseverance. His mother loves him. We all love him. Try.
Oh, we're out there. I hope we're out there with Brad Lacey. So been told that he has a new nickname.
He just was shadowing on the inside and powered home. He loved it. He punches the air. No, good work. Good support play. Full of running the force. Just hanging off those tight forwards.
He was gone. He was just in front of us. He was gone. 3 medicos lifted him up. Yep. But because he was needed, he said, give me a sec, I'll come back. No, I'll be right. I'll be right. I might score while I'm here.
They breed him tough over here in the West. I was waiting for that go you great big gorgeous thing.
It was the way to do it.
Here goes Pryor. He is a sharpshooter. That's 7 tries for the Western Force. They put it beyond doubt now as we're inside the last 10 minutes.
Someone's whistle's not working very well there in the effects mark, so all of a sudden it's 30. Tonga unable to add to the 17 they put on to the board at half time.
I hope there's only one bloke out there with a whistle. Therefore it's his. Damon Murphy, the fear of every referee that you blow the pee out of the whistle. He seems to have got it working again.
Well, can I take this opportunity to ask you about Gordon and Chris about the addition of Jeremy Thrush to this squad? Now, that's a big deal.
It certainly is. Thrush is a world-class forward. He's just come off 3 very successful seasons with Gloucester, where he was a marquee player for them. He's now a marquee player for the Western Force.
Time back on.
I remember seeing him play against the Wallabies in Dunedin under the roof Buddha. It was a high-scoring game. The All Blacks prevailed, but he is just a class performer. So wonderful news for the Western Force.
There's no doubt about that. He's quality with a capital Q. Good bloke. I met and spoken to him a few times, but even better bloke as a player.
Okay, they don't give away All Black Test caps. He's got 12 of them. He'll be here for the Western Force for the Crusaders game.
Well, that's going to be amazing, isn't it? As the Tongans are really trying to find one last spurt here. Don't write them off in terms of bouncing back with a couple of late tries. Iga working to Dewey. And they're now inside the quarter.
Leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it.
Scrum half Dogoy. Muna. And the big lump of Foduega. Muna again here. Now a little bit of space. There's 3 on 2, but the Force covered up very well. And Iona has stolen it. Braki. It was a clever kick too. Has Turner, the little scrum halves on the field. That's Muna tackled, the number 10. Good clean out by the Force.
Advantage.
Halfback taken out. You've got to leave him alone.
Can't tackle halfback.
Turner plays on quickly. Watch this guy. He is fast. He's only bantamweight. English born from St Kevin's in Melbourne. Lee Warner. Always looking for that one-handed offload. He lost it forward though. Tonga back on the counter.
Advantage over.
And they've kicked it away. I'm not quite sure whether that's the option.
He's your man, Buddha.
He's there's no chance for the 7-point try.
Here's Braki. Oh, he's handed it straight to Tonga. Faiva now. And Lacey's back there.
No. Play on.
47-17, 30-point advantage. This is Taipu. Held on to the pass, thought about offloading. Halfway line on the left.
Advantage.
Elliot Turner.
Red not rolling away.
Long bottom cleans out well.
Leave it now.
Referee says that one went back. This is Braki. 10-metre line, still in the Force territory.
Back here. Keep coming, mate, keep coming. About 10 metres.
Well, some deep breaths being taken now, and this man has played his heart out.
Run away, Red.
He's taken some heavy knocks as well. But we've certainly had entertainment value again here at NIB Stadium in World Series Rugby. It's alive, and the Force have made it 2 from 2. There's no stopping them from here.
Great pictures, aren't they? Just great images.
From the west. The sun
watching.
going down in the west.
Yep.
The ref's just having a word there to the Tongan number 3, Halele, and explaining, we know you're tired, but that is no excuse for indiscipline.
Big crowd. And there was a good crowd here early on too, gentlemen, because the Western Force women's team were here as part of the pre-match taking on the Hong Kong women. They won by 25 points in the end, Western Force 30-5, keeping Hong Kong scoreless in the second half. But I know you two guys are having a real good look at this. It's just the way of the future. Equality is what it's all about in all sorts of sports, and rugby for a long time has led the charge.
Yeah, well, women's rugby is taking giant strides. We've seen the success of the Australian Sevens team at the Olympics. The Australian women, absolutely brilliant, and taking the Olympic gold medal, and that has given a huge impetus to women's rugby. But the 15s, what about the standard of the Hong Kong team? They were beaten by 30-5, but they contested hard all the way, and it was a very good quality standard performance from both sides.
Great ball skills, but also great contact skills as well. You don't expect that physicality from a women's game. Why? I don't know why, but...
Well, they're not as big and they're not as strong.
Well, it certainly was there. Their tackling was sensational.
Time's up, boys.
Well, I've also heard a lot of coaches say that the women tend to listen more intently than the males.
I've heard that.
That's probably a sexist comment, is it? I'll get criticised for that.
Maybe. There's Andrew Forrest there. He's watching so on the sideline. Will be loving this. I think he, like the coach, might have been thinking, what's going on here at half-time when it was 21-17. But as we keep saying, they haven't scored since half-time, but they just do not take a backward step. The sea of red, they're not coming in major waves, but they're just lapping at the doorstep. Oh,
there's all
just like that.
That man just is Mr. Perpetual Motion. He never stops. He played with an inner ear infection last week and was lucky to take the field, but he certainly didn't shirk the issue. As the kick from Alatimu, and he was involved in that last try for the Western Force with a really nice offload, and this is the vice-captain again. And Johnny Iga.
Play on. Backwards,
John is English for Sione in Tongan. And away they go. Alcock finding Lacey. And they're really trying to bring up that half-century, the Force at the moment. They're throwing a couple of miracle passes there, but there are players coming through in support. They know the support is there.
That was nice. It was closed down quickly. A little bit of heat in the kitchen.
Yeah.
This is an emotional game.
Everyone coming in to help.
Just checking who took the ball out there. And it's going to be a red ball. I think the assistant linesman nearly got bowled over.
Brad Lacey, look at that, quick to get in.
It's just what you need, an arm around your shoulder. It usually happens later at night.
Did you do that?
Hey?
You used your arm in a different way?
No, I kept my hands in my pocket.
Oh, okay.
That's the
must be
best,
thinking of something
the
else.
best way, because my mum said, not whether you win or you lose, it's how much fun you have.
Well, we're certainly having fun here at NIB Stadium with World Series Rugby.
I thought it was you for a little. I'm sure I thought for a time it's not whether you win or lose, it's how many you send off the field. But I must be wrong, Chris Andy. I must have got that wrong.
Here's Ponegalafi from Manihanga in New Zealand. So it's quite a mixture, the Tongan team. It's a Tongan selection. Players coming from Australia, New Zealand, and also Tonga. Half the squad from Tonga. Local players in their Premier Club competition. Braki. Back it goes to Yuen. Oh, he ran into a roadblock there. Very solid tackle by Iga.
21 red offside.
Red offside. Penalty here for the Blue Men.
Keep coming. Just there. 21 red. 21 red. Offside.
Yes, and you mentioned Andrew Forrest and his can-do philosophy. This has just come together so splendidly. I know World Rugby is very excited about the innovation.
Yes.
The crowd involvement, the fact that families are coming along here. The game has sped up. The rule innovation has been effective. And it also has tightened up that area of the scrum, which has been a real eyesore for a lot of fans. And some great matches still to come, Mark Doyle.
Absolutely. The Rebels will be here soon. There's Mr. Forrest enjoying himself there.
That looks like seat 1A, up the pointy end of the aircraft. It's wonderful to be able to sit in those seats. They're like aircraft seats. Yep. First class.
You can come and sit in one of those if you like, Gordon. You'll be back with
I heard it's $1,000. It's $1,000 a head, isn't it?
Is that right?
To sit there.
2,000 for you. 3,000 for you.
How many for Buddha?
I need 2.
Yeah, some great games. The Rebels are next at 27 days until the Force play again. Then the Crusaders. Now that will be a big game. A sellout to open against Fiji. And well, the way that Perth and WA has responded to this, and not just rugby fans, sports fans in general, parochial Western Australians, there's no reason why the stands won't be full then either. Moving a little bit slower now, aren't they, with just a few minutes to go. It's been tough, hasn't it?
Well, the Tongans have been held scoreless in their second half by a dominant Force outfit. And the scrum has been a real momentum turner in the second half as Stander, just so strong and powerful. Here's the little Matt Turner, and Jack in a box. Now Yuan, Taufa, and back to Lacey.
Stay back,
Turner goes in. Just low body height there from Lee Warner.
Leave it.
Elliot Turner, number 21. Came to Australia just 4 years ago from England. Straight to Melbourne, and now here in Perth. At the back here, working it was Power. They're looking to bring up a half century against the proud men from Tonga. As Stander is driven back, Turner works it on this short side. Great work here from Alatimu. UN is there. He's crunched by the big man, Foduaka. Oh, that was a heavy hit. I hope he gets up from that. There's another big tackle.
Number 23.
And offside play again from Tonga. Oh. Well, there's frustration there for the Tongans, but the referee, you've got to say, Damon Murphy has really kept the lid on this and done an outstanding job.
Player picked himself up from the turf. He was a couple of feet down.
Oh, I thought he'd fallen on top of him. He did eventually. There. Squash. The ball came out like an orange pip.
Chant goes around the stadium once again, Gordon.
For the Force. That sounded like the hooter. One last throw of the dice for both teams. Can the Force bring up 50? Elliot Turner to feed the scrum. They'll be looking for a powerful scrum here, the men in blue. Tonga, keep it up. The scrum is disintegrated. So they've come up, they play on quickly. Turner, space here for Lacey. They weren't really back there 10 metres. Referee's turned a blind eye to that as Power goes hard and low. Turner again. Solid tackle on Stander. That was some hits. And that's probably a positive note to end the game for the Tongans, because they haven't stopped with those big hits all game. There are going to be some bruised and blue bodies tonight on both teams, but the blue men have prevailed by 47-17 here at NIB Stadium, and they've run in 7 tries in the process.
Oh, fabulous game, fabulous call from Gordon Bray. How good's that to have one of the absolute doyens of Australian sports broadcasting with us. A standing ovation, Chris Handy, at the end of a 30-point result, but it was better than that.
It was better than that because it was tough. The Force were under the pump. They put themselves under pressure in the first half because of a successful promotion and game and win last week. So they turn up out here thinking this will be the same. They haven't got their mind on the job, and they get towelled by Tonga, who came back from every time they got knocked down, they came back again. But in the second half, the shutout was complete.
Well, we're going to get down in amongst the players in just a moment with Daniel Lando and Pete Rosethorne and share the emotion. And what about the men in red, Gordon? What a learning experience for them.
Well, definitely, I'm sure that some of these players will emerge next year in the Tongan World Cup team for the World Cup in Japan. Torai Kefu, the great Wallaby, is the head coach of Team Tonga, and he's going to be holding a camp in New Zealand for the World Cup squad. Some of these boys will be invited over there to join that camp.
Okay, let's look at the second half highlights here as we're fast running out of time, as time was ticking away for Tonga too in positions like this. Buddha?
This has got front row dominance written all over it. Drive the scrum, screw the scrum, take it off and score. That's the stuff. Same again here. Look at the power pack.
And this is stuff you dream about, Buddha, isn't it?
Well, yeah, just to be able to get that back. This is not a lightweight Tongan team, but they're tired.
And then some lovely hands, and that was the great work by Alatimu. And look at the offload. That support play, the understanding, the cohesion from the Western Force. Again, much more slick in the second half.
And like to see this. So the two teams in one giant circle here to celebrate Game 2 of World Series Rugby. It ends with the Force leading and winning by 30, 47-17. Gordon, great to have you and Chris Handy with us. Been absolutely outstanding. To everyone that's been part of the broadcast, I hope you've enjoyed it. And the good news is we're only 2 down. There's 5 to go. World Series Rugby in 2018. Fast-moving, free-scoring, full-on entertainment.